Got it. Okay. Everybody get into character. I'm going to share my screen. I have the slideshow up. Or do we want to start on screen or off screen with the slideshow?
I think off to give
Okay.
people a chance to come into the room, and moderators, you can say something like, we're going to give people a couple of minutes to join on. Please put your info in the chat, the usual stuff to welcome each other.
All right.
Okay.
So it is now 12:30. Here we go.
So should I start with like, hi everyone. Thank you for joining us. We'll be starting in a few minutes. And then should I wait a few seconds for this fake audience to come in, or should I just begin?
Just kind of wait. Yeah.
Okay. Greetings everyone, and welcome to Hungry for Change, confronting college student hunger together. We are so glad you have chosen to spend your lunch hour with us today. My name is Jillian Berger, and I'm a student at Lafayette College in Pennsylvania. Food insecurity on college campuses matters to me after advocating for the opportunity to address College Hunger Act on the Hill this summer, and more personally, my familiarity with how this issue impacts my peers on campus, which is situated in a food desert. Bread for the World is a faith-based advocacy organization urging U.S. decision makers to do all they can to pursue a world without hunger. Our mission is to educate and equip people to advocate for policies and programs that can help end hunger in the U.S. and around the world. I became familiarized with bread through my internship as a Zero Hunger intern at the Congressional Hunger Center and became involved after participating in a listening session on campus. I'm eager to learn together today and move forward to advocating for college campuses where every student has access to nutritious foods. It is my pleasure to introduce Dr. Corey Walker with Wake Forest University in North Carolina. Dr. Walker is the Dean of Wake Forest University School of Divinity, a professor of the humanities, and director of the program in African American Studies. Dr. Walker will offer us a Hunger 101, getting at the problem of hunger in the United States.
Okay. Dr. Walker does his thing. He's amazing.
Thank you for that background, Dr. Walker. I would now like to introduce Maya Bell. Maya is a student at Purdue University Northwest in Indiana, and Maya will be speaking about hunger on their campus and how the problem of hunger impacts us as students.
For our purposes today, we're going to introduce Trayvon. I know you're going to be introducing Maya, but we're going to introduce Trayvon and let him rehearse. And Trayvon, I'm going to go ahead and bring up the slideshow now. Can everyone see that?
Yes.
Okay, there we go. Is this my slide?
I'll
Yeah,
get to
this
yours.
is
There you go.
there it is. All right. And please, like if you have any feedback, I'd love to hear it. There's like I'm not really too good at slideshows, so any help with that would be great. But hello
Wait,
everyone. My
Trayvon,
name
before you start, just back up so we can see all of you and not just your head.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Trayvon Abraham. I'm excited to be here with to talk about food insecurity and how it affects our college campuses. So a little bit about who I am. I am a part of the International Student Club at my school, Chowan University, which is located inside of Murfreesboro, North Carolina. I'm also a part of the NAACP club and a volunteer firefighter. I've recently joined Bread for the World, and I was able to attend one of their events that they were having inside Washington, D.C., where we were advocating for the Farm Bill. And even though I am new to Bread for the World, I'm not new to food insecurity. Next slide. So my journey on my campus has gone as such. For my freshman year, we had the food pantry here. It's called Murph's Food Pantry on Chowan University. And it first started inside of our columns building. So usually where all the people are at, school admin, business office, admissions, and it used to be a smaller closet. After that, we had gotten more donors who had donated some fridges, and we were able to move into Marks Hall, one of the areas where the English department is at, and dedicate a full classroom to fresh food and non-perishables. And I have some photos here just to show you guys. And with that, we had a whole lot of growth. That growth gave us fresh food such as meats, cheese, breads, vegetables, and then also helped us be able to stock more non-perishables and even hygiene products. But later on, once I did come back for my junior year over the summer during some changes in administration, we had gone back to basics. We only had our non-perishables, and we didn't have that big of a supply as when we did grow more, we had gotten money from grants, donors who were able to give us a steady supply of fresh food and non-perishables. And one of the things I do a lot in town is help run some of the food drives. Any of the access from the food drives, I would be able to help bring back to campus. And then next slide. So one of the things that's really important about the food pantry was really its impact. So we have the community support, how it has affected our campus community. The food pantry has always just been more about food, but also community for the students. Since we are a smaller campus, it helps show that no one is going to be alone inside their journey. We really get connected a lot of times with people. You get to know people's stories, and you get to meet those students who come here and they may not have extra money to go ahead and spend off campus, or maybe they're just really struggling with paying just tuition. So the food pantry is really a great place of support to really help them out, especially if you're able to give them fresh food. Another part is cultural inclusivity. Going back into fresh food, one of the things that's really hard for our international students is that a lot of them, this may be their first time going anywhere other than home. So they have to deal with different germs, different food, etc. And one of the things that makes it hard for them is to really adapt their bodies to American food. We have so much different stuff inside of our food here than inside of other countries. So a lot of time they come here, they go to the caf, and they feel sick. Having a place for them to be able to get some fresh food and where they are able to go ahead and cook for themselves is really great for them, because even still, a lot of the students, maybe they'll come here and they're only able to eat chicken and rice. But whenever they go to the food pantry, they're able to make some more better meals. And since we have a heavy student population, really fitting your body is everything. And then fresh options, really having that access to healthy, non-perishable food makes a world of a difference. Having those perishables with a whole lot of sodiums in there is not really good for your body. And especially if you have a lot of athletes on your campus, it's important that they're able to get some fresh food and make some good, healthy snacks for themselves. And then set the next one, or next slide. But unfortunately, Chowan is not the only campus that struggles with food insecurity. As in 2020, 3.8 million undergraduates and about 23% of students had faced food insecurity. Marginalized groups such as students who are inside of HBCUs have experienced this at even higher rates, with 38% struggling. And federal support programs like SNAP exist, but complex eligibility rules make it difficult for students to access them. So oftentimes they're required to work 20 hours per week on top of their studies at a near impossible rate to balance their hours so that they're eligible for SNAP. And then next one. Part of the thing that you can do to take action on your campus and even inside of your country, one of the things that you can go ahead and do is volunteer. I have a photo up here of a little food box that we created. Did it with a local pastor. We didn't have the best wood around, but thank God it's wood that was treated, so it's going to be able to deal with all the different elements that we face inside of Eastern North Carolina, which is really just rain. And if you really volunteer, you can help build food boxes. You can build some off campus, on campus, and just it really serves as a place for people to just, if you know, the take a penny, leave a penny. Someone leaves a jar of food, and someone's able to take a jar of food. Another thing that you can do is start some other initiatives on your campus, such as having your own food pantry on campus, having a garden, or supporting a network that is able to make a huge impact. So if you're a campus, it's going to be harder to start a food pantry or a garden. Support those that are local, that are inside of your town, that are inside of your city. That way, students can go off campus and get properly fed. You can also host food drives. If you guys are a part of clubs or different organizations, collecting those non-perishable foods and most importantly, hygiene products is going to be very important. So if you can organize a food drive every now and then a semester, that's going to make a big impact to help out those students and the people inside of your community. And you can also fundraise. One of the things that we are trying to do for this Christmas season is to adopt a family. You could adopt a classmate if you really wanted to, raise funds for somebody and like keep them anonymous. That way, they don't feel embarrassed. And yeah, and you can really just continue with the advocacy, especially for doing things such as pushing for improved SNAP access. That way, more students can get the help that they need. And most importantly, those international students who maybe aren't able to work all that much, they do deal with different things. So possibly making there be a way where some international students can get the support that they need. And then next slide. And some things that you can do to really advocate for change, really talking to your campus leaders. So the faculty, staff, administration, utilize your student government. If you're not inside of student government, I urge you really to get involved in any which way you can. Push for some policy reform. This goes inside of your student handbook. Read your student handbook, see some of the things that it says you can and can't do, and go ahead and make changes to really benefit the student body and make sure that everybody is being fed. And also raise awareness. Share the stories of some students, share the stories of those outside of your campus so that people really understand the importance of being fed, the importance of really needing to be fed so that you can learn properly. And then the next one. And then this would just be my discussion questions. I just have like three main ones. And I'd like some feedback on these.
Can you take us through it and we'll answer you?
Yeah. So what barriers do you think prevent students from volunteering at food pantries, and how can we address these?
Are we going to be responding in the chat?
No, we want this to be interactive.
Okay.
And as the moderator, I think you should encourage people to do that as well.
Okay. Should I take this as an opportunity to do that? Okay. I think just some preliminary ideas I'd love to hear from the audience about what barriers you think prevent students from volunteering at food pantries. I know as a college student, there are sometimes conflicts with schedule that make it difficult to volunteer even though you want to. I think just a lack of information make it more difficult. So I think just going off of what Trayvon said, inspiring advocacy and disseminating information about opportunities is a great way to start. But I'd love to hear what everyone else thinks.
I think also with volunteering at food pantries, especially off-campus food pantries, a lot of students don't have transportation. So the only chance they have is an on-campus food pantry. And here at the University of South Florida, it's a job that you can get to work at the food pantry. It's not volunteer work. So they're not able to volunteer. So they would have to volunteer off campus.
And then as we close up the discussion for the first question, I'd love to discuss the second question. And then do you want to read the second question or should I?
I can go ahead and read it.
Okay.
Why do you think many students who are eligible for programs like SNAP or food pantries still face barriers to accessing these resources? What changes do you believe would make these programs more effective?
I think what's especially important when considering this question is what conversations are going around about SNAP or food pantries and how that can impact and increase barriers to accessing these resources. And then if anybody else wants to contribute to the discussion, we'd love to hear your insights into this very important discussion question.
It's also the education level that these students have about SNAP and food pantries. They might not know where to find a food pantry, and they might not know if they qualify for SNAP or not.
Thank you so much, Alexandra, for that insight. And then moving on to the last question.
What role do you think students can play in reducing food insecurity on campus? And what kinds of actions or initiatives would you like to see implemented on your campus?
I think personally, a great way that I have been involved in reducing food insecurity on campus is through direct service, but I think a great way to supplement that is through education, taking courses that align with food insecurity and educate others about this prevalent issue, especially on campus. And I'd love to hear from other people on their insight as to how to get involved and how to reduce food insecurity. Thank you for those contributions. I think that this was a great discussion, and I'm really glad that we heard from as many people as we did about these important topics.
And so now, Jillian, you would transition us to Nicole, who will be doing the
Okay.
next part. But I think we should pause here and give Trayvon some feedback first. I'm
Okay.
going to take us off of sharing. Trayvon, I would say that was really well done. The pacing was really good. My only contribution would be I want to know, as you're introducing yourself, I want to know just a little bit of why. Why is it that you do all these things to help? I mean, you are clearly busy helping. And so give us just a little bit of a peek behind the hood. I know you a little bit, but these folks are not going to know you. They're not going to know who your parents are. They're not going to know that you're a future Marine or that your parents are Army. They're not going to know any of that stuff. So give just a little peek behind the hood and give a little bit of the why. It credentials yourself a little bit, and it also makes you a little more interesting too.
I thought your slides were really great too. And I do like
Thank
how
you.
you had the personal in there, like the firefighting and then your story of the pantry. I thought that was really engaging.
That story is something. When me and Sherry heard that story, Sherry was ready to pick a fight. We were gonna make somebody famous on that campus.
I was trying not to get too like emotional,
No,
like when
you did a
saying
good
like the
job with
why
that.
part. Okay, that was good.
Yeah, that
Okay.
was good. You could,
Trayvon,
as you
sorry.
tell it, go ahead, Florence.
No, go ahead, Jason.
Well, you could as you tell it, Trayvon, because it is an issue on campuses that there is a stigma around
Mhm.
around food pantries. So you could at least give a little bit of a peek as to why you guys went back to basics like that. You don't have to throw the old interim under the bus or anything, but just give a little peek as to, there were some administrative issues with the food pantry and how it looked on campus for students to be accessing it, something like that.
And Trayvon, I thought your slides were really great. I love the way that you speak to the audience. It didn't look like you were reading. I don't know if you were reading or not, but I just felt like you were speaking to me. So that was excellent. It helped me stay engaged. Just one thing, you use the term marginalized, and I come from this space where I work in equity a lot. So I think that we can use words that are more sensitive, like historically resilient or historically underrepresented, or if you're talking about people of color, racially minoritized, I think it's more honoring than marginalized. Um, Other than that, I thought it was great. I look forward to hearing more about you.
Can I ask a question while we're here, how we're gonna track time? Like, should Jillian be tracking that, or should like one of us, and we can send a note, like if it's, if the discussion needs to be cut off because it's been 20 minutes, or what do you guys think?
I was watching the time on when you bring up the presentation, there's a little timer ticking on so I was watching it there. Even with the discussion, you had about 5 minutes left. Of course, in a larger room, it may take up the rest of that 5 minutes. That's why I said I thought the pacing, you were not too fast, you were not too slow. You moved, smoothly between slides and thoughts. Um, yeah, but yeah, you used about 15 minutes there.
So sorry, is it 20 minutes for each speech?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
What do you moderators think about you signaling that, how the time is going with the speakers?
I wouldn't mind, but you would have to be in like the main chat, and then everyone would be able to see it.
I think for the discussion part, if it just seems like running out of time and haven't gotten to the questions, would it be more helpful to make sure that we answer all the questions? Or if we're having a good conversation about something, about one of the questions in particular, should we allow the conversation to flow?
That's a really good question.
That's
That's
a
where the
great
time
question.
is gonna happen, right? I mean, we just saw he can get through his part, and I would imagine Maya can too. By the way, I got a message from Maya. She had a family emergency, so keep her in your thoughts. I don't know exactly what it was, but um,
Yeah, so my thoughts are right. If the discussion on the first question is just going really strong, then I wouldn't worry about making sure you get to each three of the questions. It's more that they're there to kind of create the discussion. Um, but I do think, yeah, once it's been 20 minutes, I think we do need to, I mean, it could probably go a couple minutes over, but we probably want to make sure to move to Nicole. Is that what you guys think, Florence and Jason?
yeah,
I think so.
I think that's where the moderator can
Right.
step in and say, this has been a really great discussion, and and kind of transition us there.
And Jillian, do you like to be called Jill or Jillian?
Either works.
You had asked in the beginning, do we want to put questions and answers in the chat? I think that when you open up the conversation, to remind people to put questions and comments in the chat as we are proceeding. And at that point here, when we're having the discussion, you can mention that again. Say, hey, this has been a really great conversation. I'm so sorry we didn't get to all of the questions, but please continue to put your thoughts in the chat and we will follow up with you later or whatever, something like that.
Yeah. And one of us could put the questions in the chat too.
Perfect.
Oh, that's actually a good point. Yeah, you can say organizers will answer your questions in the chat throughout the conversation, or students.
Yeah, that's a really good thought. And that'll keep it flowing, but not make people feel cut off.
Mhm.
Okay.
And Jillian, you did a great job of moderating the discussion and sharing your point of view first before you opened it up to other people. I don't remember if it was the first question or the second. It was the second question. I think that we should definitely talk about or ask the question, have people found that the application process for SNAP could be cumbersome? Because we know that's one of the reasons for the SNAP gap.
Mhm.
So I think that people will connect to that, but if they don't, it'll be something to elevate.
Okay. Alexandra, maybe write that down just because I won't be moderating Trayvon's part.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
so yeah, I wonder if
Mhm.
Maya has discussion questions.
She said she has slides, but they're on her computer at home, so I don't have them
So
from
Maya's
here.
might look a little different, Jillian.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
Jillian, you're going to be moderating her.
hmm
I will, as soon as she sends them to me, I will send them to you so you can see and be prepared for hers.
Okay, sounds great. Thank you.
So sorry, it was the SNAP registration is a major part of the SNAP gap.
Applying for SNAP is one of the reasons why there's a SNAP gap because the
Mhm.
application process can be cumbersome and complicated to some students, so they just give up.
Mhm.
Thank you so much.
And that's
Mhm.
true off of campus too, by the way.
Yeah.
All right, do we want to practice transitioning into Nicole? Florence, do you want to practice all of Nicole's? Is there really a need to do
I
that?
don't think it's necessary
I didn't
because
think so
it's
either.
not going to benefit the students.
So let's just transition into Nicole and we'll speed through her slides until we get, I guess, to the discussion part, and maybe that'll need to be moderated.
And I think, because Nicole brought this up in the last meeting about the transition from who's going to make the invite to the launch. So it's like it's in the script to do that, but I think Nicole had slides for it, but then we said the student should do it. So just making sure that flows at the end too.
That's a
Okay.
good question. So what was decided?
Well,
It was decided that when Nicole shows the QR code at the end, that the moderator, would pick it up from there and then go into the thank you, Nicole Schmidt. Now we would like to invite each of you.
perfect.
Cool. And Jillian, you're good with that too?
Yes.
Beautiful.
All right, here we go then.
Now let's move on to what we can do collectively and how, with the guidance and support from Bread for the World, we can address the problem of hunger through advocacy. I would like to invite Nicole Schmidt, Senior Regional Organizer of the Midwest.
Quickly arrested, and Leonardo, the mastermind behind the heist, was sentenced to while three of the members were sentenced to 5.
So is this where we, okay.
Thank you, Nicole, for taking us through that exercise. Now we would like to invite each of you to register for the official launch of the Nourish Our Future campaign on February 2nd, 2025 at 8 p.m.
February 4th.
Oh, sorry. Thank you. February 4th of next year at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The launch will be a hybrid event with some people joining from Washington, D.C. and others online. Our goal is to have 1,000 advocates joining to represent colleges and universities, faith institutions, nonprofits, and bread leaders from across the country. I hope you will scan the QR code right now to register and that you will share what you have learned today and invite 2 to 5 of your friends to join us on February 4th. Thank you again for joining us today. See you on February 4th. Enjoy the rest of your day.
I just wanted to check real quick. So yeah, there's no questions in here really that need to be moderated, are there? There's just a story here at the beginning. Okay. Really well done.
Go.
Thank you.
Everybody feel prepared? I feel like that went very smoothly.
On the 18th, I know it starts at 12:30. Should we join like 15, 30 minutes earlier?
At least 15 minutes early, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll open it. Well, I don't know if I have these. I think Zach may have.
Zach is doing it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Well, we'll usually open it about 15 minutes early, and we usually stay after just to evaluate. So if you want to be a part of that too.
Okay, sounds good.
Good question.
And Alexandra, I am so sorry. I'll be on a plane to the Caribbean on the 18th. My daughter's having a baby. So I won't be on for yours, but I will be on when Jillian is moderating. So I just want to say thank you now for agreeing to do this.
Of course. And I'm sorry that listening session fell through.
That's okay. That's okay. We'll have other opportunities.
Hmm.
All right, you guys have everything you need. If you need to reach out to us, feel free to. As soon as I get Maya's slides, Jillian, I'll pass them on to you.
Thank you so much.
Make sure you send everybody the recording so they can check themselves out.
Will do.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you all so much.
You guys have a good one.
Yeah.
Bye.